Hey YouTubers, we're going to do a short video on LED lights for your edge lit acrylics or light box for lithophane. Thanks. Alright, this video is going to be on connecting UV lights. UV lights. This is for a light box or the acrylic, edge lit acrylic. This is what it's going to look like. This is a reel with 300 lights on it. And I'm going to show you how to cut this. And I have a place that I have shown in the video with this. There's these copper places. When you look close at them, it says 12 volts plus, and then there's a minus. And these tabs, there's two tabs. One side is minus, one side is plus. And if you look close at it, when you get yours, you'll see there's a pair of scissors in the center of that, meaning you can cut that there. You can't just cut this anywhere, it won't work. And I'll just give you a little demo here. I'm just going to cut this right here. You cut it right halfway between those, right where the scissors are. Okay, and to connect on this one, it already has a connector on it. So this would be dead ending. But if I wanted to connect a connector to this end, I could. And you need to have a soldering iron and some solder. And of course I'm a hobbyist, a radio amateur, and I have soldering tools and meters, multimeters, so I can measure the electricity, things like that. But not everybody will have those things, and there are other ways for you to be able to hook up your lights. And I'll try to show you one of those here. Okay, here is what we call a wall wart. You want to make sure that it's good for 12 volts, and you can look at the back of it and it will tell you. This one says that it's 12 volts and that it's good for 700 milliamps, which is plenty of energy. And all these, we call them wall warts, they're not all alike. Here's one that's only 5 volts. But it's going to take, you have to, when you purchase these, you're going to have to look and see what voltage they are. Most of them are 12 volts, but don't always assume that that's the case. And let's do one other step here. Okay, taking this wall wart, and it will connect into this connector, and there's your lights. Now you can buy this. It might be too long for your application, but you don't need any special tools. You can just cut it to the desired length but at the point that I've pointed out, just where the scissors are. For those of you that can do your own, there's a wiring process. Oh yeah, there's another thing I can show you on this other one, is that you can also put a switch in it. There's your switch, your on and off switch. And here's your lights. And I'm going to swap places here. Okay, here is a light box that I created. There's about 5 feet of a strip of lights. It's actually 59 inches long, so say 5 feet. And this was made for a lithophane, and that would plug into that. And there you are. And the lithophane that went in there, I actually have right here, so let's turn this around. This was also made to stand up, to stand up straight. There's a piece of green felt on the bottom of it. And this is how this was made for that. And actually I made this for somebody, and then I didn't like how it turned out because it had a chip at the top here and didn't slide into this this thing correctly. So I actually I made another one, and I gave them the one that was the better one. So that's the light box with the lithophane. And how to connect it. Okay, just a couple other things to cover. The type of solder that I used. This is rosin core solder. It's made for electronics. You don't have to buy a big roll like this. You can just go to like Walmart's hardware department, and you can get some solder. You know, make sure it's rosin core, and you know, in small quantities. And this is lead-free solder, which you'll probably just find on the market today. But they're both are acceptable. And the other thing I wanted to cover was the lithophane. Just go over how I fastened the UV lights down with a stapler. It was a common household stapler or office stapler, and I just opened it up and put a couple staples close to each end, just to hold it in place. Make sure you don't get into the electronics of the, and those are electronics there. There's resistors and capacitors that will operate your UV lights. I mean your diodes. And that's about what I wanted to cover. This base here, I didn't make on the CNC. I actually have a separate router, and I just ran that around the edge of the router. And like I said earlier, I put a piece of green felt there so that this can stand up, or it can lay down, either one. And that's it. And I put a couple of screws in this just to hold it in place, and in case anyone ever needed to get into it, you know, they could you can get in for whatever reason. A couple of screws in there. Okay, that's about it. Okay, we're ready to solder, and these are going to be our solder points. This is where the pair of scissors run, and this is waterproof LEDs. So you have to take a knife, like what I have here, and scrape the rubber off from this these contact points, and so that we can apply the wire to it. Okay, now this wire here is marked. See, it's got a black stripe on it. That's your marked wire is usually where your negative wire would go. And it's kind of a standard through the industry of electronics that the ground wire or the negative wire will be marked. So what we're going to do is, the soldering gun's or soldering iron is all hot. We're going to tin these points. We're just going to put a drop of solder on there like that. Okay, and also on our wire, they call this tinning. It's so that the solder will stick to the wire, and you'll get a better connection. Okay, our tinning's done, and our marked wire is going to go on the negative side, and that's going to be right here, and that's all it took. And I'll bring this other one up. And there you are. You don't want anything touching, you know, like the two wires together. Keep them separated. And if you need to, you can put a piece of electrical tape there if you feel that those in some way may come in contact with each other. Then, well, anyway, the other end you would put on the wall wart, connect the wall wart to this, or a 12-volt battery. Okay, YouTubers, this concludes the video on the LED lights, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, give me a thumbs up. If not, and hey, if you really like it, you want to keep up with the times there, subscribe. I'd appreciate it, and we'll see you down the road. Thanks.